Hi, welcome to Games Made Easy. My name is Lavinia and this is my cat Peter. Today I'm very happy to teach you and give you some tips on how to play SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, designed by Thomas Hollick and published by Czech Games Edition. SETI seems complicated at first, but it's actually pretty easy to learn. I love that as soon as I finish one game, I immediately want to play another one. I think the fact that it's inspired by real-world projects like Voyager, the Large Hadron Collider, and the ISS makes it easier to understand and helps you get better at it quickly. In this 1 to 4 player game, you play competing scientific institutions tasked with locating traces of life and contact alien species beyond our solar system. You do this by using limited resources and researching technologies to leverage real-world science like launching probes, exploring our solar system, listening to the stars, analyzing data, and also use some science fiction to advance exobiology. At the end of 5 intensive rounds, add your end-of-game bonuses to the points you scored during the game to see who wins the game. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like, and if you're interested in learning more board games, consider subscribing and clicking the bell to get notified when I post new videos. It's a great way to stay updated on the games I teach, and it helps support the channel. Thank you. Now, let's take a closer look at the components while I show you how to set up the game. You start by building the main board, which represents our solar system and our neighboring stars. You build it like this, place the sun in the middle here. Then I like to use the QR code from the rule book to set up the rest of the board randomly. It tells us to assemble the stars like this and the 3 rings of our solar system like that. Make sure all 8 sectors are properly aligned. Fill all the stars' data slots with data tokens. Keep the remaining data tokens with credits and energy tokens as a nearby supply. Now sort out the technology tiles in their 3 colors. Then sort out each matching tech, shuffle them and place each pile face down on their corresponding space on the tech board. Also place these markers, each worth 2 points. Next, place the 4 end-of-game objectives. Shuffle the 4 double-sided gold scoring tiles and randomly place them near the board here. These will give you points at the end of the game. Now it's time to place the super cool alien species you will play this game. Shuffle the 5 alien species boards and randomly select 2 to place face down in these slots. These species remain unknown until they are discovered later in the game. Keep the alien cards and the alien tokens nearby. Return the other 3 alien species back in the box. Finally, shuffle the main deck of cards, deal 3 face up to form the card row, deal the end of round stacks, 1 more card than you have players. So here 4 cards each as I set up for a 3-player game. Because it's a 3-player game, you also add a neutral color token here and 1 here. In a 2-player game, you would add 4 and none at all in a 4-player game. Place 1 solar system rotation token on the first pile and in the second one on the marked space here. Also, give 5 cards to each player. Let's see how they work. You can discard a card as a free action and immediately benefit from its top left bonus, publicity, movement, or data tokens. The top right corner shows what sector you can scan with it: blue, red, yellow, or less frequently a black sector. You can also pay 0 to 4 credits, as shown here, to play the effect indicated in the white part of the card. And some cards also have boxes which represent objectives. The grey boxes you can score during the game, and the golden boxes are end-of-game objectives. Finally, at the bottom right is the bonus you collect should you decide to use this card as income. Now let's see how we finish the setup for each player. You select a color and take all your personal components. I'm going to start by explaining your player board. You use it primarily to keep track of your tech upgrades as you place them in these slots. It's also a great reminder of all the key actions you can take and their cost. Every icon in a hexagon represents an action, like creating a probe, sending it to orbit a planet, or scanning nearby stars. Then separate the tokens you've received. These are probes you can send from Earth throughout our solar system. And these are markers which you use to show what you scan, the signs of life you've discovered, and a few other things. The starting player is the player who last saw a UFO, or you can draw randomly. Then place your score counter in clockwise order. The first player will get 1 point, the second 2 points, third 3, and so on. This balances the fact that SETI always gives a first mover advantage. Now let's look at the starting resources as shown on your income card. Collect 4 credits, 3 energy, and you already have the 5 cards you collected earlier. Place your microphone on the 4 of the publicity track. Turn this card over. This symbol shows that you must pick a card from your hand, tuck it under your starting income card, and immediately collect its bonus. Base cards all have one of 3 bonuses. This gives you 1 credit, this one 1 energy, and this one 1 card drawn from the top of the deck, not the card row. This mandatory decision forces you to start building your long-term economic foundation before the first turn is even played. It shows how essential resource growth is in SETI. Now that everything is set up, the game is played over 5 rounds. The game structure is straightforward. Turns proceed clockwise, and each turn you must take 1 main action. You may also take any number of free actions. For your main action, you can pick between 6 main actions. I'm going to start by explaining those you use to explore, starting with the simplest one, launching a probe. Pay 2 credits and place 1 of your probe markers on Earth. Alternatively, you can play a card from your hand with that symbol. Pay the cost indicated here and also complete the other actions in the order you want. For instance, launch your probe and also move it 1 space. You can move with cards, but also by spending energy. It costs 1 energy per adjacent movement. You cannot move diagonally. Spend 1 extra energy to move to Venus. This red symbol means that when you move onto a planet or a comet, you immediately gain 1 publicity. Moving into an asteroid gets you no publicity, but still costs 1 movement. However, leaving an asteroid costs 2 movements. Later in the game, you'll be able to upgrade this. If one of your probes is on a planet other than Earth, another action you can take is to either send it to the planet as an orbiter or as a lander. There's no limit to the number of landers or orbiters players can send to a planet. To turn it into an orbiter, pay 1 credit and 1 energy. Take your probe from the solar system and place it on orbit on the green track around that planet. If you're the first, claim that bonus here, 3 points, plus the standard 6 points. This symbol here means you can tuck a card from your hand and immediately collect its income bonus. A lot of orbiters will let you tuck cards. It's great to improve income. Now, instead of an orbiter, you might prefer to turn your probe into a lander. To turn it into a lander, pay 3 energy. Pay only 2 energy if there's already an orbiter around that planet. It doesn't matter if it's your orbiter or another player's. Take your probe from the solar system and place it on the yellow track on the corresponding planet. Note that at the beginning of the game, you cannot land on moons without a card. If you're the first on that planet, claim that bonus here, 2 data tokens, which you place here. Mars is the only planet where 2 landers can get an extra bonus, 2 and then 1 data token here. Now, on Venus, you also gain the standard 5 points, and this yellow symbol here means you have found a yellow trace of extraterrestrial life. Traces of extraterrestrial life come in 3 colors, and you'll want to collect a lot of them during the game. For now, place it in an unmarked yellow space below one of the alien boards. Collect the corresponding bonus, here 1 publicity and 5 points. In some rare instances, both spaces are full and no alien species has yet been discovered. In this case, place it in the overflow yellow space and collect 3 points. Whether you turn your probe into an orbiter or lander, it no longer counts against your limit of probes. That's important because at the start of the game, you can only have 1 probe in the solar system. Another main action you can take is to scan nearby stars for signals. To scan, pay 1 credit and 2 energy and proceed to take the actions available on that track. You can take them in the order you want. Here you can scan the Earth sector, take the leftmost data and place it in your data pool. The second action is to get a signal from a card from the card row as shown on the top right corner of the card. In this example, red or blue. I take one of the blue cards, discard the card, and collect the data. Since it's the second signal, I also gain 2 points. At the start of the game, you get 2 signals, but as you upgrade your tech, you could get up to 4 signals per scan. But you can also use some cards to scan for signals. With these, you scan a sector of a specific color. In this example, either here or here. With these, you scan a specific star. With those, you scan a sector as described on the card. and for those, you discard cards from the card row to scan the corresponding sectors. Once you complete a sector, you resolve its effects. Each player who contributed at least one marker gains one publicity immediately. The player with the most markers wins the sector. If you marked excess signals, place them here, and if there's a tie, the player who placed the marker last wins the sector. The winner leaves a marker here until the end of the game, collects the reward, which sometimes is points and is always a pink trace of life. The reward for the second scan is not always a trace of life, half the time it's just points. Like the yellow trace of life, place it on an available space under an alien board and gain its bonus. Here are 3 points and 1 publicity. Then you reset the sector. If a player came second, leave one of its markers on the first space of that sector. Refill the rest with new data tokens. You cannot keep more than 6 data tokens in your data pool. You must use it or lose it. But placing data in your computer is a free action. Do it any time during your turn to convert data you collected from scans and probes into points and permanent bonuses. Move your data tokens from your data pool onto your player computer track. Cover spaces from left to right and immediately collect its bonus. At the start of the game, 1 publicity here, and here tucking a card from your hand to collect its bonus and also improve your income. Later in the game, as you upgrade your computer, you can collect VPs and either credit, energy, cards, or publicity. To use an upgraded computer tech, you must first fill the one on top and then place another token on the bottom to immediately collect its bonus. Also, you can place a new tech even if you have a token already. You don't get the 2 points, but you could get the bonus faster. But you can also proceed to the right even if you have not filled the one at the bottom. Unlike the top row, you do not have to fill the bottom row from left to right. You can place data in your computer as many times as there is free space, as these are free actions. Once you've filled the entire top row, whether you have filled all the spots or not, you can take a new action. For 1 energy, you analyze the data you collected, discard all the data you've used, and claim a blue trace of life. You use it just like you did the yellow or the pink. Now I'll explain the different types of cards and how you play cards as an action. To play a card, you pay its cost as shown here, 0 to 4 credits. Even if the cost is 0, it's still 1 action. Even if it includes an action like launching a probe, scanning, or landing on a planet, you do not pay anything extra. And if there are multiple actions, you resolve the actions in the order you want. Once you resolve the action on the card, discard it face up in the discard pile, unless it's a mission or an end of game card which you keep face up in front of you. You have conditional missions with a grey box like these. Once you meet the condition, immediately gain the reward, even as you play the card. That's a free action and can be done any time during your turn, even when you've just played the card. Then there are triggerable missions, which you can trigger after you've played the card. When you meet the condition, place one of your markers on it and gain the reward immediately. You can only claim each reward once and only claim 1 per effect that triggers it. Once resolved, you keep both conditional and triggerable missions face down in your play area. They might give you points at the end of the game. You also have cards with the golden box. These are objectives you will resolve at the end of the game. Another action is to research a technology. This gives you permanent upgrades in 3 sectors: computer, telescope, and probe. Pay 6 publicity and rotate the solar system rotation token counterclockwise. Depending on where the token is, rotate the first disc, or the second and the first if you're here, or all 3 if you're here. If a probe is on a disc, it moves with it. A probe in a cutout may be bumped by a rotating disc. In this case, the figure is pushed into the next space. If it gains a publicity, it gains it immediately. If a probe is in a larger cutout, just leave it where it is. Shift the token to keep track of the next orbital rotation. You can pick any technology you have not yet researched. You immediately gain the rewards shown here: a probe and a card, 2 data tokens and a publicity, energy, publicity, cards or points. And if you're the first, take this token and gain 2 points. There are 3 types of tech upgrades. The blue computer tech increase your income. All allow you to gain 2 more points and gain 1 credit, 1 energy, 1 card from card row, and 2 publicity. You can place them anywhere on your computer track. The orange probe techs improve your movements. This one allows you to have 2 probes in the solar system. This one gives you 1 publicity and reduces the movement cost of leaving an asteroid to 1. This one reduces the cost of landing a probe, and you will need this one if you want to land on a moon. Only 1 player can land on each moon. And finally, the pink telescope techs improve your scanning. This one lets you mark a signal in a sector adjacent to Earth or the Earth sector. With this one, you can spend 1 publicity and gain a signal in the sector with Mercury. With this one, you can discard a card from your hand and gain the matching signal, like the red here. And finally, with this one, launch a probe for only 1 energy or get 1 probe movement. Like the probe techs, you place each scan tech in their assigned location. There are also a number of free actions you can play anytime before, after, or even during your main action, but not in between turns. These free actions cannot be interrupted by another. They often come from cards or activated technologies. We've already seen how you can spend 1 energy to move your probe 1 adjacent space, and we've also seen how you use the data tokens. Completing a grey mission and collecting its bonus is also a free action. You can also exchange resources. Sometimes you need to gain a critical resource like credit, energy, or publicity. Simply trade 2 of 1 type in exchange for 1 other type. You cannot exchange 2 different resources for another. You can also spend publicity to get 1 card. Spend 3 publicity points as shown here and pick 1 card from the card row or the top of the deck and put it in your hand. As soon as you take a card from the card row, replace it with a card from the top of the deck. After your actions are complete, you must resolve any milestones or newly discovered alien species triggered by your turn. If you've gained enough points to pass 25, 50 or 70, you can claim an end of game scoring tile. Place your marker on the leftmost available space on the tile of your choice, which you have not yet marked. Here you score for every pair of techs you will have at the end of the game. Here for every 2 gold or completed grey objectives. Here is for each set of credit, energy and random cards set you have tucked. And finally here for every pair of completed scan and lander or orbiter. Check your player aid for a detailed description of each tile. In a 2 or 3 player game, in addition to the yellow, pink and blue traces of life, you also use neutral markers to speed up the discovery of alien species. When you cross the 20 or the 30 point mark, take 1 neutral marker and place it on the leftmost unmarked available space. You do not collect the bonuses, but if at the end of the turn all 3 traces of life of an alien species are occupied, you have discovered that alien species. Flip the alien board. It can be 1 of 5 species. Shuffle the alien deck of cards. Players who participated in the discovery get 1 card for each trace of life they have. You do not get a card for traces of life in the excess space. These cards will count in your hand count, except for the exertions. Flip the top card of the remaining deck and keep it near the rest of the deck you keep face down. For more information on each of them, read the description on their individual rule sheet or watch my video guide on the alien races. When you can't take any more actions, or if you don't want to play anymore, you pass. Well, there's no limit to the number of cards you can hold in your hand during the round. You must discard down to 4 cards in your hand when you pass. And if you are the first player to pass, conduct an orbital rotation. Place the solar system rotation token on the next pile of cards and turn 1 of the 3 rotating solar system discs relative to the sun. Pick 1 card from the end of round cards stack, keep it in your hand. Return the other cards face down. From now on, and until all the players have passed this round, you skip your turn. Once all the players have passed, resolve the income phase. All players collect credits, energy, and cards based on their current income card and tucked cards. Take the cards from the top of the deck, not the card row. Also pass the first player token to the player on your left. Remember that passing is a main action, so you can still perform free actions and then pass, and that will conclude your turn. Keep playing until all players have passed at the end of round 5, and that's time to end the game and count points. If you have golden objective cards in your play area, resolve each of them. Then, in order, resolve each end of game tile. You can gain points from each set of orange, pink and blue text you have. So here are 2 sets. And here for the most energy or credit you have tucked. So here pick 3 energy. Here score points for each grey objective you've completed. And here for each set of 3 different traces of life you have discovered. If you've discovered the exertions, also resolve their end of game conditions. The player with the most points wins. In case of a tie, both players win. Oh gosh, Peter's very funny. Now my tips to play at SETI are: scan or get cards that give you data quickly, as it's a great way to get a blue sign of life early in the game. It's often cheaper or gives you bonuses if you use cards to take an action rather than playing its base cost. The alien species provide great bonuses. It will help you a lot if you manage to use them. You never quite know what cards you will get in SETI, so it's best to adapt your strategy around the cards you get, like the in-game bonuses and end-of-game objectives. It might be beneficial to queue up resources and prioritize exploration actions to benefit from the right orbital window and spend a lot less on movements. And that's how you play SETI, a game that is a true test of planning and efficiency. The game mechanics are designed to represent the real world, making complex decisions intuitive because players can visualize the scientific reasoning behind the rules. Success is achieved by advancing simultaneously across distinct but complementary strategic pathways. I started Games Made Easy with this fluffy fellow back in 2020, and it's been an incredible time. Learning many new skills to make the channel possible. I'm very proud how far it's come and excited to keep growing it. I would like to thank everyone who supports the channel through Patreon, YouTube memberships, Buy Me a Coffee, watching, liking and commenting. Every bit of support helps the channel grow, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you. If there's a game you'd like me to teach, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely check it out. We'll make more games easy soon. Bye for now.